Hello YouTube world, I just am creating a follow-up video to one I made a few days ago in regards to a Lenovo w540 laptop that my company brought in for review. In that review, I was not very positive about said laptop for a myriad of reasons. That is on my channel. If you have any questions, you're welcome to view that. This laptop here is my w530, and this is a new laptop I just got today. It's the Dell m4800, and I'll be the first one to admit that I am not historically a fan of Dells, whether personal computers, or when I say personal I mean consumer grade computers, even where I've worked at offices that were strictly Dell shops, where everybody's computer was Dell. I have not had very good luck with them. I've had problem after problem with them, mostly cheap hardware that failed. Everything from bad capacitors to bad power supplies to bad motherboard going faulty, and ports going faulty, and on and on, and just cheaply made and cheaply designed. And with that being said, I really like this laptop. So I'm not going to call it a Dell. I'm going to call it, I don't know, a Silver Wonder. Anyways, so this is my W530. I've been using this for quite some time. It's not currently powered on. I'm home now, so don't need to do any work right now. But it's kind of a Lenovo tried and true design. Very similar design to the 520. The 540 had a lot going for it coming from here, but they really didn't take some of the design features that are good about the 530 and integrate them into the 540. So let me go ahead and, from a review point, go over some of the things I like about the Dell. Now, I have not stress tested this yet. I just got it this afternoon as I was leaving work, so I've had just enough time to connect it to my network and just play around with it a little bit, surf the internet since I've been home. But some big things I definitely do like, and there are some minuses. Not every computer is perfect, but so far this one is definitely overshadowed the Lenovo 540. So start off with just review, top of the case. First things first. For a 9-cell battery on the Lenovo's, the battery sticks out. Right here, that's the battery sticking out. If you notice, no battery sticking out here. It makes it a lot easier to find a good case. I always have my laptop in my backpack. I prefer a backpack over a laptop bag to carry around. Ride motorcycles, backpack's just better. And so I like to have a laptop sleeve that goes into my backpack. Anyways. And so it's a lot easier that it's a square unit with nothing protruding funky from the sides. It does have a 9-cell battery, just like the Lenovo. I'll show you the underside here in just a second. So that's the first thing I like about it, is that no battery sticking out. Second of all, the 530 is a very sturdy case. It feels very well built. The hinges are nice. The Dell's the same way. It's very nicely built, very nicely finished. Just like the Lenovo, terrible fingerprint magnet here on the top, but what isn't anymore these days. It's nicely designed. I don't feel like it's cheaply made. They weigh about the same. The 530, the 540, and this 4800 all weigh a little under 6.5 pounds. So it definitely is a hefty thing to have to carry around, and it's nice when it feels sturdy. So first things first, I'm just going to go to the back and then the bottom. So because it doesn't have a battery in the back, you have some ports here in the back. And if you notice, there's 2 sets of fan grills. I'll cover that in a second. The other thing is this has the Ethernet, 2 video, HDMI and your VGA, as well as a mixed eSATA and USB port here on the back. I really like that design. When I plug in my 530 and at work I don't have a docking station. I just plug everything straight in. The only thing in the back I have here is my power port and a USB port. So when I plug in my video cables, there's 2 video cables come out of here, power cord, 1 USB here, and my Ethernet's on this side. So I have cords coming from every side of the laptop, which really makes the setup on my desktop much wider than it needs to be, because you got cords that stick off 2 or 3 inches here before they can curve and come around. You got another few inches here, you got a few inches here and here. At work I can plug in just about everything I need coming off the back of the laptop without using a docking station. That makes it's a real estate on my desk a lot smaller. Plus this has 5 available USB ports, where this only has 4. So 1 more USB port, never a bad thing. And this has 4 USB 3s. 2 on either side are USB 3s, the one in the back of the USB 2. So have a lot of external storage. Nice to be able to plug that in and utilize that. So that was the back. Let me go ahead and flip it over upside down carefully. So I mentioned the 2 vents here in the back. It has 2 separate fans. I believe this one's for the video card, this one's for the CPU. Regardless which one is which, doesn't matter. It has 2 separate fans. All the other laptops I've looked at, for the most part, of the major brands, they have just 1 fan that cools both the video card and the CPU. This to me is huge, that there's 2 fans, 2 separate cooling systems. I mentioned in my other video, I was able to overheat the Lenovo 530 pretty quickly, and it overheated and shut down, which I really wasn't pushing it, I thought, all that hard, but I guess it was hard enough. Here's the battery. I won't pull the battery right now because it is powered on. I don't want to kill it. Just a little switch, and then the battery just comes out. And then there's a couple screws here. I haven't taken this panel off yet, but I believe it's just a couple screws right here, and this panel comes out. This panel feels a lot better, a lot sturdier, a lot tougher plastic than the panel on the Lenovo. So that I do like, that it's definitely a lot sturdier, doesn't flex and bend under the slightest pressure. Alright, let me go to this side of the laptop. Alright, so this is the left hand side of the laptop. On this side you have a few things. You have a smart card port, which is not something I ever use. This is something I haven't seen too often on laptops, is other than like a MacBook or something, is a CD-ROM drive, where it's a feeder instead of having a tray that slides out, which means you can't use smaller discs. But honestly, I can't remember the last time I used a CD. I honestly can't remember the last time I used a CD for anything, including music. So it has separate headphones and microphone. I couldn't care less about that. These are focus, come on. These are both super speeds. I believe that's what the SS stands for. So those are USB 3.0s, Kingston lock. So just a smart idea. Oh yeah, the SD card slot, it's right there. I believe this comes out, I need to verify and check, I believe this comes out and you can replace it with a hard drive bay, which is very important. Along the front here, one thing that I've never been a fan of, this is a button release for the catches. In this day and age, with how nice the hinges are, this is just really antiquated. I'm not a fan of it, but whatever. That seems to be common. Wi-Fi switch, love it, glad it has it. This is nice. Hard drive, there's just a screw under the battery, and then the hard drive bay just comes right out. So it's real easy to access the hard drive to replace it. Get 2 more super speed USBs, or for a total of 5 USBs, 4 of which are 3.0. Then you have your video card display. So not video card, but video display port. Let me flip this over. Oh, one thing I didn't mention on this side that I totally meant to. See right there? See those lights? You have your power, your battery, and your hard drive lights right there externally. So I know a lot of my users plug these into a docking station or plug it in, but don't use the screen of the laptop. They have external monitors they use. You can have those indicators visible with the laptop screen closed. They're not even available on the 540 for those to be viewed at all, regardless if the screen is open or closed. I'm going to go ahead and pop this puppy open. Let's see. Got my YouTube channel analytics up on there for you to see. I'll go ahead and close that. It's a really nice screen. If my camera were to focus, there we go. It's a nice screen, what I expect on a high-end laptop. Standard 1080 resolution, which is fine. It's perfectly fine for what I do. I don't do picture editing. If I did, there's a higher resolution. One thing on this one is they have a few different options for video cards. I specifically went with the AMD video card. We've had driver problems with the NVIDIA. Don't know if it's because of something going on with the Lenovo drivers, because we had other Lenovo driver issues, but went with the AMD on this just to see if there was any driver issues with it. I haven't seen any problems with it. Seems to run great, so there's that. Now I come down here. Again, I love lights, I love indicators, quick glance, hard drive, battery power if it's plugged in or if it needs to be charged, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, numpad, specific dedicated keys for your volume, come over, obviously a dedicated power button for power. Now this grill here that you see, that's where the speakers are housed. Love that. Love it being right out front. On the 540, or actually if I go back to my 530, their speakers are here next to the keyboard on either side, so when you're watching a video or doing a presentation, it's nice and loud. Obviously it's not as good as real external speakers, but pretty decent for a laptop. These I think are even better than the 530 as far as sound quality and clarity, and they're right up front. The 540 moved them underneath the laptop there along the bottom edge, which obviously they point down, harder to hear, less clarity. Caps lock has its own little indicator light next to it, right on it, to tell you if your caps lock is on. Again, that has the num lock there, to let you know if your num lock is on or off. I know most people don't care about that. I do. Also here on your F5 function key, you can turn your touchpad on and off easily and quickly. So if you're doing a lot of typing, you're not going to use your mouse hardly at all, you can turn your mouse off, or if you're using an external mouse, turn it off. That way you don't accidentally brush it or turn it off. It is multi-touch, zoom and scroll up and down with multi-touch on there, but it itself is not clickable. It's a standard style of touchpad. It's a little small. I think it's almost the same size, very similar size to the 530. I'll cover the touchpad again in a second though. Has a pointer. I still use it. My first laptop was a Toshiba 9-inch screen laptop, and it didn't even have a touchpad. Those weren't even invented yet. And it had a trackpad. I do use it. I like it. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Again, this has a numpad on it. I know with my last video, a lot of people said they hate the numpad. I tend to do a lot of number crunching. I appreciate it. My laptops for the last 3-4 years have all had numpads on them, and I've gotten used to it. I like it just fine. You are off center a little bit, so it does take a little bit of adjustment, but after many years of having it this type of setup on my personal laptops at home, it's no issue. Biggest gripes I have with this laptop are in the design. there's about there's a few things. First of all, this edge right here, it's very pretty. This is a soft touch. This is hard plastic, and it leaves kind of a sharp edge right along here that when you're resting your wrist, kind of hear it scrape along my skin. It's a little rough. I wouldn't mind, like on the 530, it curves down just a little bit. So if they either had this curved down just a hair, so it wasn't so, and this is perfectly flat there, versus this has just a slight curve. That would be nice, just so you don't catch on this quite as much. And if they were to have moved the touchpad either down closer to this bottom edge and had these buttons like right on the edge, or had this depressed here just a little bit, because these buttons are flush, so when you go to push, at least for my style, I tend to have my finger flush there, and it'd be easier to push the button if it was, I don't use that hand, I use this hand, but you know, if that button was raised up a little bit, or if this was lowered just a little bit, or if these buttons were moved down to the edge, and they could have made this just a hair bigger or moved it down, one of the two. I mean, on a laptop like this, you heard my gripes on the w530. My gripes with this one are pretty minimal. This will probably just take me a little bit of getting used to. I want it to move down, or the buttons, or this to press just slightly. Like on my, you'll squeeze me. This is my wife's HP laptop. Oh, excuse me. You see the buttons are just slightly taller than the rest, just so that they're a little bit, I find them a little bit easier to push. This too. This is a 17-inch laptop, but you know, again, numpad keyboard. It's what I've been using for a long time. This touchpad is actually really nice. If you notice, it's a little bit wider than it is on the Dell. So I think that the one on the Dell could be made just a little bit wider, and I think it would be great. So again, sorry for the shaky cam videos. I'm doing this with my cell phone. I don't have a professional video camera recording setup. So so far my impressions with the Dell have been great. Ignore the terms and conditions. That's the fun stuff of having a new laptop. I'll really get into the meat and potatoes of testing it this next week after the holiday. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask. I'm going to be keeping this one definitely longer than I kept the Lenovo, so if you have any questions, want me to try anything out on it, do my best, since I do have it and will have it a little bit longer. Alright, thank you for watching, and have a great Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.